Video games are supposed to be entertainment, a way to escape reality, but sometimes developers cross a line so far that their creations become something else entirely. Disturbing, violent, and in some cases even illegal. These are games that went way too far. JFK Reloaded. It is a 2004 first-person shooter game developed and published by Traffic Games. This game, as you might have already guessed, is about JFK's assassination, and you are the shooter from that tragic event. It wasn't banned in any countries, but the reception of it is very negative due to how controversial the topic is. The gameplay is very 2004-like, with quite simple graphics and a straightforward goal. The player is the shooter, and your goal is to assassinate JFK. And JFK Reloaded includes a chaos meter that controls how heavily the motorcade's drivers are affected by panic. Following each game, individual shots can be replayed in slow motion and with a close-up on each bullet. Before the game's release, the lead developer, Kirk Ewing, even sent a letter to Ted Kennedy, John F. Kennedy's brother and a United States Senator for Massachusetts. He said that he's releasing the game, and obviously it was not so welcome by the Kennedy family and many other public figures, many stating that they were sickened by the game. But to this day, you still can find plenty of footage of it online. KZ Manager Millennium. A very controversial game and even banned in a lot of countries. KZ Manager Millennium is a resource management computer video game that put the player in the role of a Nazi concentration camp commandant or manager. The KZ being short for the German word Konzentrationslager. I probably said it wrongly, but you get the idea. The resource management in question is poison gas, money, and various equipment. You also manage either Jews, Turks, or Romani, or as the people nowadays say, Gypsies. The game was released initially back in 1988, but has multiple versions dating even to the year 2000. The game gained much popularity in countries like Austria and Germany, and New York Times reported that this game is one of 140 with similar themes. Ethnic Cleansing is a 2002 first-person shooter game developed by the National Alliance, an American white supremacist and neo-Nazi organization. Just like the previous game, this one is also banned in a lot of countries. The game gives you 3 character choices: a KKK member, a skinhead neo-Nazi, or the Aryan white whale. As enemies, the player faces African Americans, Latinos, and Jews, who are described as predatory subhumans with Jewish masters. They are depicted with various racial stereotypes, and when killed, the black characters make monkey noises. Jews shout "Oy vey," and Latinos exclaim "Ay caramba," or say they would take a siesta. Health is restored by collecting life runes, and White Power Rock plays in the background. The neo-Nazis group founder William Luther Pierce claimed the game had a positive reception and sold 2,000 copies by March 2002, with 90% of customers being white teenage boys. He characterized it as a medium for the message that teenagers could be subjected to joining the Alliance. Now, we're diving into the very depraved world of Japanese games, as the following 4 games on this list are from Japan. Starting it off with a game called Euphoria. Quite ironic title considering this game is far from it. Euphoria is a 2011 visual novel, with even an anime adapting it with several liberties released on the same year. The plot revolves around a guy called Takato. He wakes up in a white room in the middle of nowhere, wearing his school clothes. He remembers going to bed yesterday but seems to have been kidnapped during his sleep. Investigating what happened to him, he soon exits the room and discovers that along with him, 6 women he knows were seemingly also kidnapped. And no, none of them are of age, even the teacher. Soon a robotic voice talks to them through a loudspeaker and explains they will have to play a game where the MC is some sort of unlocker and the women are his keyholes. I do not think I need to explain anymore. The first encounter is with Mayako, who was disgusted by the idea and refused. Then she got politely excused from the game, and the MC seems to enjoy it. Yeesh. Japan is really wilding with these games. Sadly, it's not the only one on the list. 177 by Macadamia. 177 is an erotic video game developed by DB Soft and published by Macadamia Soft 1986 for Sharp X1. A conversion for PC-88 was made of the video game. The title of the game comes from the article of the Japanese Penal Code prohibiting sexual violence. In the game, you're a serial rapist chasing a woman, and you win by catching her, and you lose by letting her get to the police. In that case, get arrested. It's like a reverse Subway Surfers, but much more dark. The game is obviously banned in a lot of countries outside of Japan, and even in Japan it's looked at badly, and I even believe that it's banned there now, but I can't really confirm it through my sources. Nothing much more to say here than this game is truly really bad. Demonophobia, and yes, Japan strikes again. Demonophobia is a survival horror game with a more emphasis on the horror aspect and much less on the survival aspect. You play as a girl named Sukuri Kunikai, who, after jokingly pretending to summon a demon to get revenge for some reason, wakes up to find herself dumped in hell. Not surprisingly, hell is full of death traps and demons that only desire to cause grievous bodily harm, including a large monster that is constantly hunting her down. And she's pretty much powerless. The game is filled with gore aspects, and simple wrong turn can turn her into a Krabby Patty. The game features plenty of over-the-top deaths and torture that is very disturbing. Lay. This game is unlike many of these on the list, mostly because it's actually made by a very big game company from Japan called Illusion. Their portfolio mostly consists of 18+ games, and some even made it to Steam. But this one specific game is only available in Japan. As you might have guessed by the title, this game includes stuff like, like that in the title. The game is played from a perspective of a recently bailed man named Masaya Kimura, a sex offender who has a history of previous arrests and also happens to be the son of a high-rank public official. A lot of corruption going on here, you might say. With his release, he stalks and subsequently rapes the Kiryu family, including a widowed 42-year-old mother named Yuko and her 2 daughters, 17-year-old Aoi and 12-year-old Manaka. The game's story mode centers around Kimura, who raped, in consecutive order, Manaka, Yuko, and Aoi. After the player finishes raping all these 3 women, they unlock free prey mode, where the player can engage in consensual sex with the 3 women. Sad Satan is a horror video game released for Microsoft Windows in 2015. The game was allegedly created by a dark web user operating under the pseudonym ZK. But if you ask for my opinion, this is just some publicity stunt to make a bad game creepy, because it was allegedly found on the dark web. In the game, the player walks down dimly lit corridors in a first-person view while being periodically interrupted by flashes, full-screen images. There are no real goals or win conditions. There are actually 2 different versions of Sad Satan out there. First one showed up on YouTube back in June 2015 on a channel called Obscure Horror Corner, uploaded footage claiming it came straight from the dark web. And those videos obviously blew up, covered by tons of gaming and news sites. And soon after, another version appeared online. This second version, often called the clone, was way worse, packed with graphic images, real gore, and even CG. Despite all the attention, no one really knows exactly who made the game, or when it was exactly created. But to be honest, I really think this is some kind of weird kind of publicity stunt that just started a pretty bad trend. And obviously the other version is much more disturbing. But there really isn't much info about who made these weird and disturbing clones.